Welcome to SpellCast, the Gaming Wizards podcast.
Yeah. What are we going to talk about?
Good question. We spent most of last week talking about movies instead of games.
It's true. We could talk about games made based on movies.
I finished Alien Isolation. We can talk more about Alien again.
We could.
Now that I finished the game and...
So how'd you like it?
It was really good. It felt like it was a little bit too long. Like, there were 3 places where it could have ended, and I would have been happy with it, but it's like, no, something else happens, and now you have to do this. I'm like, really? Like...
Okay, I can kind of get that. Like,
I mean, there's... I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's the first time where you think you've dealt with the alien, and obviously that can't be it. So I can understand that first part, but that was still, like, 10 hours into the game at least.
Yeah, no, it's a long...
It is a long-ass game, even if you don't explore a lot, like I do. So apparently it's supposed to be, like, 12, 14 hours-ish. According to Steam, it took me 23 hours.
Yeah.
A lot of which was spent hiding under desks.
Dude,
and
it sounds like how I play games.
Staring at the motion tracker, waiting for it to, tell me, okay, you have 5 seconds to get to the next desk. Go! That's basically what it is.
I'm just hoping for the best.
Yeah, really. Like, it's not even that difficult, necessarily, if you know what you're doing. Like, as much as they build up the aliens' AI, it's kind of stupid. Like... Either that or it's just blind, because you can lean, like you have that like look around corners kind of thing, and if you do that up against something, you're like invisible. Like, I have hidden behind an open door, the alien has come into that hallway, looked around, and then just left. Like, okay, nothing here. It's like, really? Like, you looked at me and left!
Well, they don't have eyes.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that doesn't stop it from seeing you across the room if you're not leaning.
I don't know. Well,
and then you run like a motherfucker, hoping you can get to the next like cutscene before it actually gets you, and then it doesn't work. You cannot outrun that thing.
No,
it is not possible.
Definitely not.
Which is weird because there was a part early on in the game, it's like the first time you actually have to use the motion tracker to know when you're safe and move very carefully around this area. I died so many times that I was just like, fuck it, I am sprinting to the next area, and it worked. Like, it actually worked.
Very nice.
I don't know how how that happened, but it worked.
So, I'm curious, how often did you use, like, the little noisemakers that you can make?
I avoided using it against the alien because of what I had heard about its AI being like, oh, I'm gonna go over here because that's where it came from. But, like, I used it, like, once or twice against, like, the androids and everything, and some of the humans.
Yeah.
And there was one time where I used it to summon the alien to kill a couple of humans because I felt like being
monster.
an asshole. I know. I was just like, I wonder if I can actually do that. And then it killed everybody. I'm like, okay, does that count as me killing them for that achievement for not killing humans?
I don't think so. I don't think it would. You didn't kill them.
I know, but I'm like, there were other times where I did have to directly kill a few people to get like through an area, but
yeah,
there was no way I was getting that achievement anyway because it's just like, humans are ridiculously good snipers apparently.
Yeah,
like, oh,
kind of
you're across the room, bang, one shot to the head, you're dead. Like, I mean, it's realistic and all, but fuck.
Damn, you have good aim. Yeah, I was kind of wondering, because when I had watched Markiplier's playthrough, he would use the noisemakers a lot. Like, just, that was his go-to, like, oh, hey, what's that sound over there? Yeah, that's weird. Go over there. Check that thing out. I'm gonna go this way.
Like, having played through the game and knowing what I'm doing, like, I've started watching him play it. I'm like, don't fucking sprint, you dumbass! That's why it keeps getting you! Like,
I love watching people play games when you've played the game, and you're just like...
It's like, God damn it, you are a dumbass! It tells you that sprinting is loud! Don't do it!
Yeah. But, generally can enjoy just watching someone play a game, but every once in a while, like, I think there's a couple times with Game Grumps where, like, I just couldn't watch because it was painful. Like, oh my god, I can't watch them play this.
I don't think they've actually played a lot of games that I've played. Like, now that I'm thinking about it. Like, they're playing Mario 64 right now, and I have played it, but...
See, that's one I've never really played.
Yeah, like, I've played the DS version, which
right.
is, like, mostly the same, but there's a lot of differences to it. But, yeah, but they're playing, like, the 64 version, and... So, like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying really hard to think of games that they've played that I have also played, but I can't think of any. I mean, they've done a fucking lot of them, so...
Yeah,
it's entirely
no,
possible that I just forgot about it, but...
Their list of games is pretty massive now.
I don't think there's ever been a moment where it's like, oh my god, I would have done that in 10 seconds, just, you're a fucking dumbass, but...
I've grown to enjoy watching them play, like, the stupider games, like the Barbie and, like, the Disney princess shit.
Yeah. That
shit's always
like,
funny.
Oh, man.
It's just like, yep, this is a game.
Or fucking, what was the PlayStation game where there was, like, the supermodel secret agent, fuck. You know, the one where it was, like, the shitty Photoshop, and there was, like, the part where they didn't...
the Pamela Anderson
Yeah,
game.
that one.
I had to watch them play that for one reason and one reason only. Because we had a copy of that game at the store. Like... When I saw that they played that, I was like, oh my god, they're actually playing that fucking game. And, fun fact, that game has actually sold since then.
Probably because of them. Well, I mean, the fact that it's one of those games that you can tell it's going to be bad.
Well, so it's one of those games that's just, it's awful, it's basically worthless. It's one of the games we, like, when we priced it, it's $5, right? That's pretty much as low as games go. Unless they're sports games. But, so, as a joke, though, because no one was ever going to buy it, we put it in our front case with all the good games and put a price tag of, like, $575 on it. But because of that, like, people ask about it because it's sitting there.
Is it really worth that much? Oh, no.
God, no, it's $5.
Oh, yeah, it's an incredibly rare collection. No.
Yeah, someone eventually did decide to pick it up, like, just to have it, kind of thing.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm not going to play it. I just want to have it.
I just want to have it because, you know, video game collection, like, go for it. It's all yours, bro. Get that thing out of my face. The other joke price tag we had was, there was a Warhammer 40k game on the PSP, and I had put a price tag on it that was, $39,999.95.
40K, I get it.
That was the one that people are like, that's not really worth that much, right? I'm like,
there are probably companies that aren't worth that much.
God, if that game was worth that much, we've had like 4 copies of it in the store. I'd be rich right now.
And then you find another game that's worth that much, and it's like, huh, I guess I'll buy that with this money.
I'll buy that game with this game.
And now I'm broke again.
That's how I always feel when it comes to, like, trading stuff in. It's like, I'm going to buy that game with these games.
I've never done that. Like, I have a few games that are probably worth something, but I don't want to get rid of them.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Like, there's games I have that I know have a decent value to them, but I want to keep them. It's just like, if I'm getting something that will essentially replace that game, like, I still want to re-get them, but my original copies of Metroid Prime 2, and Metroid Prime 3, I traded those in to get the trilogy. Because it's the same games, but
pretty much
better.
They're all in a neat little collection instead of...
It's got a cool metal case. You can play the first 2 games with the control scheme from the third one if you want to do it on the Wii. Which is kind of awesome, because I really liked the motion controls for the third one. they didn't feel gimmicky. It actually kind of felt natural.
It's like
The one thing I changed
by aiming at them.
The one thing I changed is, like, I think default jump was B and A was shoot, and I switched those so that you shot with the trigger.
Because why wouldn't you ever shoot with a fucking trigger?
Yeah, basically.
That's what it's for. It's the part of a gun that makes the bullets go out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you want to get technical, it's the mechanism that's connected to it, but the trigger initiates that action.
But yeah, like, that's one situation where, like, I was willing to trade in games I had to get something else, just because I still have those games, just not the original versions. I want to have the original versions because Metroid. Like, that's my goal, is to one day have a complete copy of every Metroid game.
And how's that going so far?
I need the case for Hunters and the case for Super Metroid, which is going to cost me more than the cartridge itself, most likely. And I need the first Metroid game, and I need the box for Metroid 2 if I really want to have, like, complete versions. But I have all the games, I just don't have any of the boxes, basically.
I see.
Yeah, I just don't have any boxes, but I have all the games, except for the first one. And I guess technically there's a version of the first one on some of those, but it's not the same as having the original NES cart.
Yeah.
It's not like it's an expensive one either, it's just don't see it often.
Yeah.
And I want to say the few times we have had a copy, either someone beats me to it, or I've spent my money on something else, like, recently. I'm good at finding frivolous things to spend my money on.
Yeah, I'm apparently not. Like, I do a thing where I actually don't spend money on things, unless it's something that's either really useful or something I really, 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 really want.
Yeah.
Mostly, so far, it's just been the occasional Steam game.
That's probably good. Like, I'm trying to save money a little more recently, especially, but yeah.
My biggest purchases in the past few months have been computer upgrades, my new desk, and my microphone, which is the same one as the one we're using here, except mine is black.
Aren't you fancy?
And I got a stand for it so I can clamp it to my desk.
See, I got this one because it was the cheapest.
Yeah, well,
like,
it was like
I didn't care about the color.
It was like $10 more for the black version, so I was like, oh, it looks cooler. Plus, my desk is black, my monitors are black, everything else is black and blue, so might as well get one that fits the theme.
But your monitors are all different. Get all the same monitors, damn it.
Someday, eventually, I probably might.
That's what you can frivolously spend your money on. New monitors, so that they're all the same.
I'm not even sure. Like, I've had my middle monitor, my HD, 1080 monitor for a while now. I'm not even sure if that model is still available.
Probably not.
So, best case scenario, I could get 2 more HD monitors of, the same brand, but
it would still be the same one.
It would still be symmetrical.
Yeah.
Because I'd have the one in the middle and then the 2 on the sides.
See? Gotta fix that symmetry, man.
I'm not sure if they would, if 1080 monitors would even fit, where I want to put them, because I have shelves, right next to my desk, and I have the monitors on the mounts there, so they're up more. So I'm not sure if they would stick out too much. I would have to do, measuring and stuff to make sure. But it would be cool to, play a game across, all 3 monitors, where it's,
that would be kind of cool.
Like that. I'm not sure if I could get used to that, though, having the breaks there in between them.
They kind of fade away, from my understanding. I've seen stuff like that, where people have setups, people will get the, the longer monitors, and have 5 of them, vertically, so that's just, one big wide thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've seen setups like that before, and the way they say it is just, you eventually just get used to it, and the lines just kind of go away. You don't really notice them. But I can imagine that taking some getting used to, for sure.
Yeah. And what I should do is just get like 4 like big screen TVs and just have my entire wall be my monitor.
Perfect. Do that.
That would be like at least $10,000 though.
Worth it. Just completely worth it. Don't even worry about it.
I don't have that kind of money.
Rob a bank. It'll be fine.
Rob a bank so I can buy some TVs.
I mean, at that point, just steal the TVs, right?
Yeah, really.
It's like, why deal with the extra, like, middleman?
I feel like getting away with 4 giant-ass LCD TVs would be a lot harder than getting away with a big old bag of money.
Yeah.
Like a bag of money you throw over your shoulder and just run like hell. 4 TVs the size of a wall.
Either way, I don't think it's ending well.
That would be a hell of a heist to pull off.
You know, you gotta go in with like a plan, have a team.
Yeah, really.
You know, have a team for that shit.
And you'd have to have incentive for them to work with you. Like, these TVs are all mine. You get paid with whatever else you want to steal, but the TVs are mine.
Well, okay, so, like, say you have a team of 4, right? You steal 16 TVs, that way you each get 4.
Okay. But the original plan was for 4, so now we're quadrupling that. So we're probably going to need additional people to steal additional TVs.
No, maybe. No. You pay them in gum. Yeah.
No one ever pays me in gum. Fucking stupid ass commercials.
Gotta love stupid commercials though. They stick in your mind even if you hate them. And you're like, this is the dumbest shit ever.
Stupid commercials are not necessarily bad commercials. Like, good commercials do that. They like stick with you and remind you of the product, and it's like, I'm never gonna buy that, but I remember the product name. And that's like,
speaking of, what gum was it that had that?
I don't even remember.
God,
I want to say it was Trident, but that's probably not
It might have been Trident. I don't know.
God, I don't even fucking... See, it wasn't that good of a commercial because we can't remember the commercial more than the product.
Yeah.
See, that's a risk. It's like, oh, yeah, that one commercial with the stupid thing. But yeah, what was that for?
I don't fucking know.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Or you have the companies like fucking Geico where they have like 80 million different campaigns. It's like, really?
You can't just stick to one thing?
It's like, oh, this is a Geico commercial. Like, oh, this one's also a Geico commercial, but it's completely different. And they still have the fucking gecko.
Of course they do. It's the gecko, man. Gecko's awesome.
Like, you've got the fucking gecko, the stupid camel bullshit, which was originally part of a different... It's like, God, they have like 80,000 different campaigns.
Yeah.
You sell fucking car insurance. You are not a fucking Disney studio.
Maybe that's what they all like wanted to be, and they couldn't cut it, so they like, fuck it, we'll sell car insurance.
Well, Disney wouldn't take us. Let's do commercials for fucking car insurance.
Like, that's the logical progression.
Well, can't make...
Step 1, can I get into Disney? No? Alright, step 2, car insurance. You don't try to find no other animation company or anything. Nah, you go straight to car insurance after Disney.
Man. Speaking of Disney...
Oh, God.
What?
No, I was like, we're gonna get into that now, aren't we?
I was gonna say motherfucking Star Wars.
Yeah?
Because that's a thing. Disney is, like, in charge of Star Wars now.
So you're probably gonna yell at me for this, but I actually haven't seen the newest trailer.
Why not?
Well, the short answer is I would rather just watch the movie without hyping myself with trailers. The long answer is I've been playing Final Fantasy. And,
okay, so it's just... yeah.
I have... Okay, so my backlog of, like, my watch later on YouTube has been pretty long for a while because, like, there's a lot of older speedruns from, like, games done quick that I wanted to watch that have been sitting in there. And there was about, like, 40 of those.
Okay.
Right now, because I haven't really been keeping up with my YouTube subscriptions, and I've just been adding stuff to my watch later is at, like, 90 videos.
Wow.
And it just kind of keeps going up. I need to set aside a day to just watch YouTube, but... And it's not like I couldn't do that, because usually when I'm watching YouTube, it's just, like, background noise anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I couldn't do that while playing Final Fantasy. I just don't think of it.
Yeah, and I mean, we're talking about a movie trailer that's like a minute long.
Yeah.
I mean,
I have videos.
Yeah, no.
I have videos that I need to watch that are like 30 seconds, and I'm just like, questing.
Like, I have never really given a shit about spoiling Star Wars, like, ever. Like, even when the prequels were coming out, I was like, I would read absolutely every single rumor and possible spoiler that there was. And I even remember reading, like, an entire in-depth, like, synopsis of Episode 2, like, months before it was even supposed to, like, be out. And it was, like, literally the entire story. And then I saw the movie, and I was like, yeah, that's exactly what it said it was going to be. There were, like, a couple of scenes that got deleted, I guess, in that time, but, yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. I knew everything that was going to happen in the movie before even seeing it, and I didn't care. It was still awesome because I was like 14.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a concept of prequels are bad.
I don't know.
And they're not even bad. They're just...
Yeah.
They're just not as good as the other ones. That's it. They're not bad movies.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think I would rather watch the newer ones for the visual spectacle over the older ones. Honestly.
There are things that are definitely better. Like, people complain about all the CG, but there's some stuff that kind of has to be CG. But they did go kind of overboard with a lot of it in the prequels, because if you watch some of the, like, behind-the-scenes stuff, there are entire sections where somebody is literally standing in front of a green screen the entire time.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that people are really excited about the new set of trilogies, is that there's a lot more of the actual sets and puppets and everything being built. And they still look really fucking good from what we've seen so far.
That's pretty sweet.
Like, did you see the original, like, teaser trailer?
I think so.
There's a little droid that's like the ball with the little top on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they actually made
that. That is fucking awesome. Yeah. And they already announced like a little toy version of it, and I want it.
Of course.
Like,
how toyetic can you get?
Like, but no, even in that case, it's like, yeah, they're obviously going to make toys about it, but on the other hand, you can tell it's not just about, like, making it a toy. Because, I mean, it's Star Wars, there's going to be droid characters, they gotta make something different from R2-D2.
No, they don't.
Yeah, well, they kind of do. Because otherwise, it's just like, oh, it's another R2-D2, but this one's a ball. I mean, it sounds kind of stupid, but, I mean, I like the new droid from what I've seen.
Yeah, no, I think the general consensus is that new droid is cool.
Yeah.
I think that's people's general feelings on it.
And fuck anyone who doesn't like the new lightsaber. Just... it's cool. It's got a crossguard.
Yeah. I think that's really awesome.
And we did get to see a little bit more of it in the new trailer, which you haven't seen, so whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I'll get to watching it at some point, but I don't know, I'm lazy. I'm lazy and I have things to do in Final Fantasy, like not do things because I'm lazy.
But your excuse is that you're too lazy to do things because you're too lazy to do other things. What?
So for an example, like, I'll spend a lot of my time in Final Fantasy just, like, sitting there doing nothing because it's like I want to do this thing, but it's really grindy and I don't feel like doing it right now. So like I'll just sit there and I'll like find people to talk to often. Like I started hanging out a lot in the Gold Saucer, and every once in a while I find a group of people and I'm just like, have you heard of our Lord and Savior Coral Kitten? Like I got like 3 people to just sit there and listen to me talk about Coral Kitten for like 20 minutes.
How do you have 20 minutes of material for this?
Dude. Coral Kitten.
No, like really, like what do you...
Well, I mean, I got like 10 macros, and then after that I just kind of like ramble on and, you know, make things up as I go along. And I actually, like, they got into it. Like, I have like 3 new macros from like talking with this group of people.
Okay.
It's pretty good. Some of them were pretty good. But yeah, I have 10 macros that are just like chat macros that are like, have you heard of our Lord and Savior Coral Kitten? He will guide us to the promised land where the sun is always shining and the air smells like warm root beer.
Is that a guide you to Albuquerque?
Yep.
You know, it's like 10 minutes down the road.
Coral Kitten has spoken! He has guided us down the road. But yeah,
like really, you go down the
got a few
street,
of
turn
those.
right at Intel, and drive for 10 minutes, and you're in Albuquerque.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't even think it takes 10 minutes, honestly. Depends on traffic, really.
Yeah.
Because I usually get to work within like 10 to 12 minutes. But yeah, you know, and now I have the black coral. I still need to write the black coral into scripture.
Black Jesus.
Yeah, the black Jesus of the Coral Kitten. But I just wish that more of these people weren't already in guilds, so I could expand our guild, the Coral Cat Crusaders.
Oh my god.
We have a song and everything.
A song.
We are the Coral Cat Crusaders.
That doesn't count.
It totally counts.
You can't change 2 words in a song and make it your song.
It's called parody?
That's not parody. You have to change more than 2 fucking words.
Well, I mean, I still have to write the rest of it, right?
Well, then yeah, it would be a parody.
Because, I mean, I can't be, like, on a quest to find our cutie mark. That wouldn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, and it would probably also have a copyright issue there. I mean, I guess well, not necessarily, but... trademark.
We're on a quest to find our deity? I don't know.
It also has to rhyme.
Rhyming.
At least vaguely. Unless you want to do something that's, you know, that bullshit doesn't have to rhyme or have any sense of rhythm. That's kind of what poetry is.
Well, but there's ways to write things that are poetic without them being rhymey. Like, it doesn't have to.
Yeah,
rhyme,
but there still has to be at least a sense of like rhythm to it.
I got rhythm. So do you. Let's take our rhythm, show them what we can do. Sorry.
I mean, even that, as lame as it was still poetic. In a sense.
Well, I mean, it was a quote from a song, so.
Well, there you go.
But it was, like, spoken, as opposed to sung. But, you know.
We're just all over the place today.
I am.
There you go.
I have not been getting very much sleep lately, so my mind's been kind of wobbly. It's weird, too, like, it's not like I couldn't sleep more. Like, these past couple of days when I could have slept in, I wake up early, and I can't go back to sleep. And I'm like, Why am I awake? I got 5 hours of sleep. And I lay there for another hour, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm getting up, I'm gonna go play Final Fantasy, I guess.
I know that feeling. Except I never really seem to suffer from it. It's just like, yep, my brain says it's time to wake up. I guess I'll do that. And then go do whatever it is I feel like doing.
Yeah. I guess it's just kind of frustrating. It's like the day when I could totally sleep in, like the 2 days out of the week that I get that chance, when normally I'm up at 7 a.m. every day, and I can't sleep.
Yeah. Your brain's like, hey, you wake up at 7 a.m. all the time. Why not do it this time? Because I don't fucking have to?
Like, usually what I'll do, too, is, like, the night before, I'll stay up later, and, like, I'll still wake up a little later than normal, but, like, I still won't get even 8 hours. I'll sleep for, like, 5 or 6, and be like, God damn it. This weekend we had a LAN, and, it was actually really funny. So, it wasn't what I had planned on doing. Like, what usually happens with LANs is I'll play a couple of multiplayer games, like the previous one. Like, I did some TF2. I think I played, like, a game of League of Legends. We played some Crusader. And then, eventually, I start just playing single-player games. Like, I'll do runs of Risk of Rain and stuff. This last LAN, we played, like, 3 of us just sat in the corner and played Final Fantasy XIV all fucking night.
Wow.
We made progress. We cleared the, like, final trial thing in the story mode. You're, like, on this big bridge, and there's this giant fucking dragon that doesn't give 2 shits about you. He is just going across that bridge, tearing down, like, the magical barriers that are there to keep out the dragons, trying to get into the city or whatever.
Huh.
And you have, like, there's cannons and, like, snares and stuff, and there's this thing that's just, like, a giant anti-dragon weapon that every so often, so, like, you snare it, and then you drop that thing on it. So it's, like, this huge thing, and the entire time there's all these smaller dragons spawning that you have to deal with. And it's a really cool fight, but it's also a pain in the ass.
Sounds like it.
Like, a couple of my friends were just, like, he had gotten ahead of everyone in the story because he just wanted to get through it all as quickly as possible, whereas I was kind of trying to, like, wait for others so, like, we could go through it together, but he was like, you guys need to get to this fucking fight so that I can have people on my team that are competent. Because it's one of those fights where you have to do everything right, otherwise it just falls apart.
Oh.
But yeah, no, it was fun. Like, once we had a strategy, like, I guess the usual strategy is 2 of the ranged DPS will go and get on, like, the cannons, and just all they do the whole fight is shoot the cannons. And then, you know, you have the 2 healers and the 2 tanks, like, dealing with all the little things, while the other 2 DPS are working on the big dragon and doing the tower and stuff. But what we ended up doing is we had the second tank and the second healer doing the cannons. So I had to solo heal the entire party, which, once I got in my groove, was fine. But at first, like, if you're not careful, the dragon will step on you and just one-shot you.
Oh.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. It's like the one fight where you can just, like, revive, and because normally when you go into a fight, it locks off the area you're fighting in because you're usually in, like, some kind of arena.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you can't just, like, return to the start of the area and go back into the fight. But obviously, like, healers can resurrect you, but you'll get, like, a debuff that lasts for, like, a minute because you've been resurrected. So you'll have your stats will be knocked down by, like, 15%.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. But that's the one fight.
Dying.
Yeah, basically. But that's the one fight where you can resurrect yourself and then, like, go back into the fight right away, so you don't have to worry about getting that debuff. But that's also time that you lose from, like, killing this dragon that basically the whole fight's on a timer.
Oh.
You have to kill him before he gets to the end of the bridge.
And he can one-shot you.
Yep. As long as you don't get under his feet, you're fine. But I had, like, the worst timing with it. Like, I would stay, like, basically between his legs, like, in the middle. But every once in a while, like, there'd be someone over here that I wanted to heal, and to get closer, I would, like, go to cross between the legs, like, between the front and back legs.
Yeah.
Just when he was moving that back leg forward. So he'd just kick me in the face and be like, God damn it.
Right in the face.
Yeah. But it was fun. Like, And then, yeah, after you do that, you go through a couple other, like, minor things, and then there's this whole crazy 2-hour long cutscene, basically. Like, there's a little bit that breaks up in between it, but it's pretty much just straight cutscenes for 2 hours. Granted, part of that is the credits, which rolls for, like, 20 minutes, but you can just skip those.
Well, wait, like 2 hours of cutscenes?
Yeah.
Damn.
But, like, 20 minutes of it is credits, so you can just,
still,
skip
like
the credits. But yeah, it's
still
a
like
movie.
over an hour and a half of cutscenes.
Yes.
That's fucking ridiculous. That is a full-length movie.
But think about it this way. By the time you're at that end game content, you've gone through at least, like, 60 hours of story.
Yeah.
At least. Probably significantly more. It's kind of a nice, like, alright, I'll just sit back and click through their dialogue as it goes.
And I thought Dirge of Cerberus was bad.
Right?
An entire episode, literally an entire episode we did of that was a cutscene.
Yeah, that was kind of depressing. I was like, oh man, can we at least have some gameplay in this?
At least we got to make fun of it.
Yeah, we weren't paying much attention, that's for sure. Yeah. We were just kind of talking about other stuff.
That may or may not have been at least a little bit related.
Yeah, I think we were talking about related things. I don't know. I already forgot. What are we talking about?
Whether or not Yuffie was in fact 18.
Well, I think that was before we were recording.
Yeah, that was just before we started recording. Whether or not we actually meet the other characters from FF7.
I know that was something we mentioned, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that was before the cutscene.
Yeah. Just generally, like...
But yeah. Fun game, at least.
Yeah.
But, you know what? Look at it this way. At least it's not as bad as Final Fantasy 13. I mean, that was just one big long movie. There wasn't even any gameplay to it.
Go forward. Press X.
Hold stick forward.
Kill everything.
Click auto battle. Win game.
Dead. You win. Have some completely non-memorable victory music.
I don't remember, like, any of the battle music from that game. Like, none of it was memorable. There's some really cool tracks in 14, though. I should show you the Shiva fight, because one thing they do with, like, the primal fights is, like, they'll go through phases, and, like, usually when you get to, like, this, like, halfway point or whatever through the fight, the music changes as well. And it gets really awesome in some of them. But, yeah, I want to show you the Shiva one, because, like, at first it's an okay song. It's kind of calm, but then it, like, goes into, like, full rock, and I'm like, dude, yes! I'm killing an ice bitch!
An ice bitch.
But yeah, if only you were into MMOs.
Yeah.
I feel like you would enjoy the story of Final Fantasy XIV.
Oh, yeah, I mean...
But it's just, like, getting you into the gameplay, I think, would be the hard part.
Name any MMO, and I'd probably be into the story, but it's just... I can't bring myself to sit down for hours and hours at a time, like, learning these complicated systems where the combat basically amounts to click thing until it dies.
Yeah. At least you get some cool, So, I didn't get to experience this much, like, starting out in that game, because I play a healer, and healers, you basically have, like, I started White Mage, so you have throw rock at thing, put a dot on thing. Yay! But, like, I've since then tried some of the other classes, like Ninja and stuff, and they have, like, combos, so, like, you'll get a certain ability where if you use this ability first, the next time you use this ability, it'll do more damage. So you have, like, combo strings, basically, in your abilities, and they'll like, glow and have, like, a little flashy border and stuff, like, use this ability. And pretty much the only experience I get with that, with healing, is like when I cast Cure, there's like a % chance that my next Cure 2 will be free, which is really nice. But like that's the only sort of like combo I have as a healer. Whereas when I was trying out like Ninja, I was like, I'm gonna stab him with this thing, and then I'm gonna stab him with this thing, and then I'm gonna hit him with this to apply a dot, and then I'm gonna do that 1-2 combo again forever until it dies. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that I noticed in like the melee classes. I was like, that's cool. I want them to do that. Like with the expansion, they're adding a new DPS, a new tank, and a new healer. And I already have an idea of how the new DPS and new tank will be unique from the others. I'm not sure how they're going to make the healer like unique and bring its own thing to the table, because White Mage has heal over time and like big single target heals, right? And has some pretty good AoE. And then on the flip side, you have the Scholar, who has really good damage mitigation. Like, they have a heal called Adoclium that's... when you heal someone with it, they get a shield equal to the amount you healed them for. If it crits, they get a shield equal to double what you healed them for. So if you crit for like 2,600, that's a fucking 5,000 point shield they get.
Wow.
For freezies. So, you know, you have damage mitigation, and then they have a pet they summon that helps them heal, and the pet will give, like, party buffs and stuff. Depending on, like, which pet you have. So you have the buff and damage mitigation, and then you have the big heals and the, like, heal over time. So what are they going to do with, like, this new healer? And I'm like, what if they make, like, a combo healer? Where you have to do, like, complicated combos of abilities to get, like, really good heals. I think it'd be awesome. We were talking about, like, what classes from other Final Fantasies they could bring in to 14 and how it would work. And I was like, they just need to bring Arithmetician from Final Fantasy Tactics and make it to where you have to have, like, math formulas and just, like, sit there, like, typing arcane commands of code to use abilities.
Oh, my...
Takes you, like, 4 minutes to get one ability off, but it does, like, 8 billion damage. I think it'd be awesome.
That would be interesting. I feel like it would
Protect me while I type in my arcane command.
I feel like everybody would get tired of your shit and just be like, God damn it, we have to protect you for everything. Just do your shit. And he'd be like, well, I have to type all this fucking stuff in here, and if I keep getting hit, I can't type stuff, so fucking deal with it.
See, and on top of
job,
that,
tank.
you would also have to, like, move around and dodge things, because that game doesn't really let you sit still in the end game. A lot of the end game fights are like, oh, you're sitting still? Cool, you're dead now.
Wow.
Yeah, dodging stuff is important. That's why I get frustrated at people who can't dodge, because, like, from the very beginning, it's like, hey, here's a thing, don't stand in it. And, like, if you haven't learned that by the end game content, what are you doing? Why are you even here? Stop dying, damn it. Don't stand in front of the boss. It does a giant cleave. It's glowing orange. Don't stand in it.
I feel like that's just a basic of video games. Like,
right?
How have you gotten this far? Presumably you've played at least one other video game in your entire life. How do you not know standing on things that hurt you is bad?
I don't know, man. I don't know, but people do it. People do it all the time. Stand in the fire, DPS higher, I guess. It's fun, the occasions when I play a DPS, because it's like, I don't have to worry about people dying. I just have to make sure I'm killing the thing. Someone else can have the stress. And then I die to something, and I'm like, oops.
Not my
I would
fault.
hate myself if I was healing. But I'm not healing, so...
But not my fault. You should have been healing me. Well, it's not my fault. You should have been pulling aggro. I was like, it's not my fault. You should have been healing me. So wait, it's... Damn it, it is my fault!
Damn it! Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the other thing that kind of keeps me from being into MMOs is like, there is if you're not playing with like 10 people that you know really well, there's like no point to it really.
Yeah.
Because you have to be able to work as a team to do all of this like big stuff. And a solo player, it's like, well, you have to be good at healing so you don't die, but you also have to do a lot of damage so you can actually kill the damn thing. But you also have to be able to take a lot of damage because it's guaranteed to hit you a few times. So if you're not a jack of all trades and a master of all of them, you're basically not good for shit.
Yeah, there's some stuff where it's like the amount of coordination required here, you're very unlikely to find with like a random group. But at the same time, I think most of it's not that bad. It's just like there's a couple of things endgame that like you don't have to do them. They're not required at all.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not really much like there's a bit of a side story to one of them, but it's not very prevalent. It's more about like this is the hard raids, like this is the stuff you do to do like the hard shit. And that's that stuff, like you go in there and if you're not prepared, you're just dead. Like you have to be coordinated and yeah. Like when they first released it, there was 5 parts to it. It's the Coil of Bahamut, turns 1 through 5. Since then, they've released the second coil and the final coil, so there's a total of 13 of them. I've never gotten past 5, because when we were playing as a group, that's where we stopped, like where we got stuck, and I haven't wanted to go in solo. I'm like, I want to do this, but I'm afraid of dealing with people. I don't want to deal with people.
Yeah, but really, that's like... an online multiplayer, like, it's like I said, if you're not playing with somebody you know, chances are you're going to get somebody who's a complete asshole and
every time
tries to report you for being bad at the game.
Oh, Final Fantasy will give you the worst of it if, like, you're not going into some of the, like, story dungeons with a group you know, because, people will be like, just skip the cutscenes, watch them in the inn later. Like, I've seen people get kicked for watching cutscenes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
People have no patience either. It's like,
that's great that you want to speed run.
Even
get over yourself.
Like, you're going to be mad at the people who are worse than you, but everyone who's better than you is going to be mad at you for not being as good as them. So it's just like, everybody's just pissed off at each other. How are we going to get anything done?
Basically. I just sit back, tell people about our Lord and Savior Coral Kitten, and, call it a day. Like, I have it worked into, like, my healer macros, too. So, like, my resurrection, where I, like... There's an ability called SpellCasts that you get from being, like, a black mage. It's the only reason I leveled that class, because that class is awful for leveling, but... and it makes it to where your next spell you cast is instant. You don't have to charge it. And... reviving people is like a 8-second cast time, which is awful. That's like standing still for 8 seconds in some fights is just you dying.
Yeah, sounds about right.
So, most people macro SwiftCast raise. And I have it set up to where when I do that, it announces in chat, like, you've been resurrected, but it's, may Coral Kitten bless you with new life. Just every time. So, I work stuff like that into all my, like, healing macros.
Nice.
Yeah. Good times. Good times. If you ever get the inkling to try Final Fantasy, though, let me know. That way I can send you, like, the refer a friend link thing.
Oh, when you get shit for it?
We actually both get shit for it, potentially.
Oh.
Like, they don't really have much for refer a friend. It's like, so if you refer a friend and they subscribe for 30 days, you both get an item that increases experience gained below level 25 by 20%. So you level up quicker. So that's kind of convenient because it's for both. And then, like, if they subscribe for 90 days, you get a chocobo that 2 people can ride. So, like, if you're in a party, that person can ride your chocobo with you.
Huh.
And I'm like, it's really cool, and I want it. But, you know, everyone I know that would play that is already playing. I'm always the last person in, like, a group to join something like that.
Yeah, and I probably wouldn't subscribe for even 30 days anyway. Like, if there was, like, a week trial or something like that, maybe. But I'm not going to pay money for something I'm going to play, like, for a week.
Yeah. See, and that's what I would say is, like, I would give you the refer a friend thing, and you could try, like, the trial.
Yeah.
Do, like, the week trial or whatever they have. And just see how you felt about it. But, yeah.
Yeah, another thing is I just probably wouldn't even want to spend the time in it. Like, an MMO, that's...
They're definitely designed in a way to where they expect you to play them exclusively.
It's not something you can sit down and play for, like, 20 minutes, go do something else, and then just come back to it an hour later. You need to spend hours at a time playing it to actually get anywhere.
Yeah.
Because, like, they recently, like, in the past few months, or maybe a little longer ago than that, but Blizzard had, like, a free, like, week or something of World of Warcraft, and I was like, hey, I remember playing that a while ago. It was kind of fun. Maybe I'll mess around with it for a while, and, you know, played for, like, a day, and got bored with it. I was like, yeah, no. Still not into MMOs. Like, if World of Warcraft can't draw me in, I don't think anything else probably can.
Yeah.
Like, even
my issue with Warcraft was always, like, I didn't have much interest in, like, the lore of the world. And, like, the first few levels were so unbearably grindy. There was, like, nothing to the story.
In World of Warcraft?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I played Warcraft. Warcraft 2 was the first Warcraft game I ever played. I never played the first one because it was, like... It was like DOS old.
Yeah.
And then... But, yeah. And I got Warcraft 2, and... The story was kind of cool and everything, but it was still kind of simple. And then I got Warcraft 3, and it was fucking amazing. Like, even just the, like, pre-rendered cutscenes, they're still amazing today. Like, the animation looks kind of a little bit, like, dated, but
yeah,
it's still really fucking good. And they've gotten even better at it from, like, the trailers for the WoW expansions and everything like that.
Yeah.
It makes it look so fucking cool, and it makes me kind of annoyed with myself that I don't want to get into the game, because I do like the story, and I don't like the gameplay, is the problem.
Yeah. See, I'm willing to get past the gameplay if they've, like, made even any improvements to the questing system at all from vanilla, which I'm sure they have, because that was the one time I tried WoW, was, like, years ago in vanilla. I was like, I'll try the 10-day free trial. And I'd play for like 3-4 days, like really hardcore, and then I'd get bored because I'd be like, I'm just doing the same shit and over again. This sucks.
Sounds about right.
Apparently it's improved since then, but it's just like, I don't care enough about the world to give it another shot at this point.
I'm just wishing they would make a Warcraft 4 and go back to the strategy game, the strategy RPG formula, because I really liked Warcraft 3 and the expansion of Frozen Throne. And I've read some of the Warcraft wiki, and like World of Warcraft takes place, like, depending on like what race and everything that you are, it takes place directly after like the end of Warcraft 3, like after all the major shit goes down. And I'm like, that's cool, I want to know where the story goes. I don't want to play a fucking MMO to get there.
Yeah.
So if you could just make Warcraft 4 and include, like, the major story points that WoW has gone through, but in strategy game form, I would probably be a lot more into that.
That'd be cool. You know, now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever really played through the story of, like, any strategy game. Like the real-time strategy style games. Like, I don't think I've ever played through a story mode in those. All I ever do is the like skirmish missions.
I've pretty much only ever played through story mode, but it gets to the point where I can't beat the game without cheating. Which was another cool thing about the other Warcraft games. There were always the cheat codes that you could type into chat. It's like, yay,
Yeah.
I have 10 million gold now. I can upgrade the fuck out of everything and just steamroll the AI.
I remember there were some missions in, I want to say it was one of the Command and Conquer games, where, like, it's like, here you go, here's 5 units, go take on a fully fortified base. I'm like, what the fuck? How? Like, the requirements for some of the missions were just like complete bullshit, and that's why I never really was like, nope, I'm not gonna mess with story. I'm just gonna throw up a skirmish mission, stomp a few computers, move on with life. It's always fun.
Strategy games are hard.
They are.
Like, you either have AI that's... You have AI that starts out, like, in the first couple of missions, it's like, oh, we're just, stupid little computers. You can... build a few things, upgrade some stuff, and boom, you're done. And then the next mission, it's like, yeah, we are the gods of war. You will not defeat us without cheat codes. It's like, oh, okay.
One thing I've always noticed with strategy games, from just like playing skirmishes, is there's no real good like middle range difficulty setting. Like,
it's either ridiculously easy or
impossibly hard.
Yeah.
Like, again, with Command and Conquer, like, if I'm playing against, like, I want to say, like, easy to normal, I just completely stomp them, no challenge at all. And then I go up one difficulty level, and they kill me before I even have, like, my base stuff set up. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How are they already producing tanks? I just was able to make my first infantry.
Oh my god, yeah. But, there is... Like, my first ever strategy game that I remember was a game called Dark Colony, and it's a pretty, like... It was like Windows 95 or something like that, and it was basically like, humans are colonizing Mars, but there's aliens there, and they're like the gray aliens.
Okay.
And they have like all this, like... The two sides you could play as humans or aliens, they were exactly the same, like in terms of damage and everything they did.
Uh-huh.
It was just like basically how they looked, and the story was different. I never got past like the 4th mission in story mode for either side, because it goes like from like the first like 3 missions for the humans. It's like, okay, build a small base, take out these aliens over here, and then it would be like, okay, the second mission would be like, defend your base from these aliens. And then the third one would be like, whatever. And then the 4th one is like, your bases are being destroyed right now. Build shit, fight off the aliens, and kill them all. And it's like, you started me with my bases at half health. I have nothing to work with here. What the fuck?
Good.
Yeah.
Glad.
Never got past that mission. And then just a skirmish against like regular AI was kind of impossible too, because they Zerg rush you. That's like the only thing they do. So you have your base in this corner, and if you use the cheat that turns off the fog of war, you can see everything. It is just a stream of like blue dots coming towards your base at any given time. I'm like, what the fuck? How is this even supposed to be possible?
God. I do enjoy games like that, though. Like, Age of Mythology will always be one of my favorites. Because you get to have god powers. There was one faction, I want to say it was one of the Norse factions, where, like, the final tier of god power for one of them was you would turn all of your workers into heroes.
Oh.
So, like, basically what I would do is, like, I'd just build, like, my fortress or whatever, and then I would gather all my workers up in one area, because, like, it was like an AoE cast, and I would just cast it on top of them, and I'd be like, alright, go kill everything.
Wow.
It was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. It was good shit. Age of Mythology was awesome, and then the expansion was pretty good, too. Titans.
Never played any of those ones.
Really?
Yeah.
Not even like Age of Empires?
No.
Wow.
It was Warcraft and StarCraft for me throughout the 90s and early 2000s, I guess.
Dude. I
And
wonder...
they were hard as shit. Could not beat any of them without cheating.
Dude. One of these days, you need to play Age of Empires, because those games are fucking awesome.
Oh, and shit.
Come to think of it, I think I did play some of Age of Mythology's story. Because that one was pretty cool.
Oh, it was,
Plus, you get to summon mythical units.
Alpha Centauri. I was trying to think of the other strategy game I played. It was Alpha Centauri. It was basically civilization, but in space.
Civ in space.
Yeah, that's like exactly what it was. Like the same system and everything. It was made by the same people and everything too. It was just, you know,
Okay.
It was
I
civilization.
think I've heard of that one actually.
It's also really hard as shit.
Yeah.
Because you have like the diplomacy and everything like that, and people will decide arbitrarily that they don't like you, and they will have better shit than you.
That's always the worst. I always had that issue in
and it doesn't help when you accidentally nuke somebody.
How do you accidentally nuke
when you
someone?
don't realize that Planet Buster missile is not hyperbole. It will literally leave a crater. It changes the geometry of the map around where you use it into a crater. And apparently it counts as a weapon of mass destruction.
Well, no
and
shit.
And apparently everybody else doesn't like you having weapons of mass destruction and using them.
Gee, I wonder why. Maybe that's a good life lesson. Don't have weapons of mass destruction and use them. Your neighbors will hate you. That's a good note to end on.
And always assume that the name of a weapon is as literal as possible. A Planet Buster missile will literally bust the planet.
That's good.
I just assumed it was a really good missile and would probably destroy a city in one hit. Did not know it would take out everything else around it.
Oh, boy. That's good.
Yeah, this has been SpellCast. We will see you next week. Because if you can hear us over the title music, you can hear us over anything.
The screen was still set to Chrono Trigger size.
Oh.
Because I haven't used live stream since.
Are we testing?
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, buckle my shoe.
3, 4, get fucked in the door.
I think we already did that joke during Mega Man.
We did. This is test recording.
I know.
Doesn't matter. We can use the same jokes over and over and over and over and over.
Over and over and over?
And over.
And over and over and over and over and over and over again. Ideally, this Let's Play would be longer than 6 words, though.
Yeah. Just the entire time, it's like, this Let's Play is just 6 words long. This Let's Play is just 6 words long. This Let's Play is just 6 words long. Couldn't think of any commentary.
You gotta have commentary.
But we can't just have any commentary.
Because we're not that funny.
Okay. So you should be about here-ish.
Yes.
And you should be about here-ish.
You just hand me the controller. I'm gonna be playing.
Just a bit.
Hey, do you have anything green?
Green?
To wash?
Green. No, I think I just have the one shirt and it's clean.
Keep talking. We need more audio.
I'm sorry, I got a yay.
A yay?
I got a yay. Yay!
Is that what text messages are now? Yays.
They have been for me for a while.
You've been referring to them as yays.
I don't think so, but I think I've said it at least once.
So
it's funny because some people have mistaken the yay as it going gay.
Wow.
That's gay.
Well, depending on your perception of that particular fandom, I guess it's not a terribly inaccurate mistake to make. Because unfortunately there are people who feel that way.
Sumit boy.
Super dying meat boy, meat boy.
Super, yeah! Meat boy! Splat. Okay, I'm gonna...
You're just gonna...